WHPC is nominated to be the best radio station on Long Island in the Bethpage Best of Long Island Awards. Help us win by voting at bestoflongisland.com.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
This is the award-winning 90.3 WHPC HD Garden City.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Play WHPC.
And available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeart, and on the WHPC app.
90.3 WHPC.
.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. A little zebra to start our show. They played over at the Paramount on Wednesday, and the bands, all three of them are still around, which is great, because you can't say that about every band. And I went to, I'm Rob Leonard, he's Tim Leonard.
Yes.
And I went with Tim and our friend Rob Tuck, and great show, you know. They have to put in, I don't know why, but they have to put in the things as, we'll play the entire first album. Well, of course you're going to play the entire first album. It's one of the greatest albums of all time.
Well, I think they were,
They were just reminding people.
Well, they were doing also like a taped event also.
Yes, they were hoping that this might be a live album. They haven't had one in a while.
Yeah, there's going to be something that they're putting together.
But there's no video. It's just a taped.
But that's also a lot of people like hearing the album in.
That's a great album.
In its entirety, in order, the whole deal. Like a lot of bands do that nowadays.
Yes, they do.
They'll hype a show by saying, oh, they're going to play, like.
To
use my own personal example, The Alarm will play the entire Strength album from front to back.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying.
And Bruce Springsteen did a whole bunch of that he did every album on one. Well, not the last tour, but the tour before, and that was pretty cool. And I asked Billy Joel that once when he announced he was doing the franchise of the Garden. I said, Billy, you ever thought of doing a whole album? And this is what he goes. He goes, well, then we'd have to cut out some other songs. I go,
yes, so.
Yes, so.
And?
Yeah, nothing against Billy. Cause
you don't have to play Moving Out every show, Billy.
Yeah, I one of the things I haven't gone to a show since he closed the Coliseum before they reopened it into that aluminum, tin can
trash
thing.
Can.
Yeah, and he did a couple of good songs, but he does. It's the same show every night.
Of course it is.
It's too bad. I wish he had the.
He's got the material that he should vary it.
Yeah,
and I don't know why he doesn't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to say he doesn't have the guts, but everyone who was there just has the greatest hits album, or albums, or a couple of them, and that's the problem. There's barely anything that isn't. If he did Side 1, or if he did all of Glass Houses, or 52nd Street, or Nylon Curtain,
just don't make it so scripted.
Yeah, and Yeah. But that's Billy.
Be daring, Billy.
He is playing the UBS Arena on New Year's Eve, and he ends his franchise thing soon, actually. I think sometime early next year. I forgot the actual.
At MSG, you mean?
Yeah, he's moving.
He's moving where?
Florida, I think. For tax purposes. Everyone moves to Florida for tax purposes.
Come on, Billy.
And they get gated communities. So
be better. Be better than that, Billy.
Then the people of Florida can't get near him. So, anyway, lots of happening things in our world of sports. Give us a call, 516-572-7440. Let's start off with the Giants. Somehow they won. Tommy DeVito.
It was a gift, brother.
Tommy DeVito is the new savior for the Giants.
Yo, Tommy!
And, one more win, brother. He will never have to pay for an Italian meal in North Jersey again.
I think he's pretty much there, brother.
So
he's a hero. He's a local hometown hero.
Oh God!
They showed yesterday on the air during the game,
right?
How close Cedar Grove, which is where he's from,
right,
is to Giant Stadium. And I didn't think it was as close as they said, but they said it was about 11 or 12 miles.
So it's not like Mike Tirico.
No.
Rutgers is right near here.
Yeah, Rutgers is a 15-minute drive from Giant Stadium. No, Mike, it's not. Why does this thing keep going down?
Don't worry about it.
Well, I got to be Well, they're talking to the mic, brother.
Yeah. Is there? Okay.
Let's see if that works. So, I mean, he's the thing about Tommy DeVito, and let's not forget this, is the Giants have a bye this week. They finally got to the bye week.
Okay.
They will play the Green Bay Packers on Monday night next week, or the week in 2 weeks, basically. More than likely, Tommy DeVito's not starting that game.
Why not?
Because Tyrod Taylor, the actual backup quarterback, should be healthy by then.
Right.
And I would assume that the Giants will put him in the starting position because he gives them the best chance to win. That's why he was the second-string quarterback and Tommy DeVito was the third string. Now, maybe Brian Dable, the head coach of the Giants, looks at Tommy DeVito and says, hey, kid, you've won 2 games in a row. I'm not taking the job away from you now, but I would assume that the pecking order is what it is. And you know, I'll tell you what, DeVito has not played bad.
Oh.
Yesterday, he had another solid game. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't earth-shattering. It wasn't Brock Purdy, stepping in and getting the job done and everybody saying, holy cow, this guy's actually a player. But DeVito yesterday, 17 for 25 for 191 yards and a touchdown. For 2 games in a row now, he hasn't thrown an interception.
That's good.
So, again, solid, but not spectacular. But let's face it, in besides Daniel Jones last year, when have the Giants been able to say that about a quarterback for like the last 6 or so years? And I'm including the last year or so of Eli in that.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't good that last year or so.
No, there was a lot of problems.
Well, there was a lot of other problems. But I'm saying that
it wasn't just Eli.
I know, but it's not just Daniel Jones. I mean, the offensive line is lousy, especially with Andrew Thomas out. Just like the Jets' offensive line is lousy. So there's plenty to build on here. But will Dable say to Vito, "Hey, kid, you're a good story. The media likes talking about you. They like talking about the family. They like talking about the chicken cutlets and him living at home and his mom making his bed and cooking dinner for him, whatever." And we said it last week. Tommy DeVito's take-home check is somewhere in the $42,000 range. So good for you, kid, that you're banking some money, because I guarantee you his Italian mother is probably yanking that check out of his hand when he gets home and telling him, "Put it in the bank, Tommy. Put it in the bank."
Put it in the bank. We've heard that before.
So that he might not be in the league next year. I mean, I would assume the Giants will at least keep him around as a third-string guy, because look what he's doing. At least he's shown he can actually play NFL snaps, which a lot of guys have proven they can't.
I think if possible, he ends up as a backup somewhere. But, at the same time, you look at him, he's not bad. maybe a couple of more games he gets even better.
Maybe the Giants give him a little bit of a raise to keep him around.
Yeah.
Give him $1 million to be a third-string guy. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. Depends on the salary cap situation. If they have a few bucks left over when they're done signing people, and they say, "Hey, look, we got $1.5 million left over. Let's give DeVito another $300,000 for what he did for us last year."
I think that'd be a good idea.
I mean, and make sure we put it out there so that the media can write another story. And hey, look at the Giants. Look at the Giants doing something nice for the local kid who bailed their butts out last year and won them a couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good story, and he's played okay. I mean, this
he's
Giants...
done fine. I mean, let's put it this way, brother. How did Tim Boyle play on Friday? Was he competent? Was he solid but not spectacular? No, he was kind of crap, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
All right. What's Zach Wilson done? He's been kind of crap.
Yep.
All right. So, and I look at the names from even a couple of years ago. Jake Fromm, superstar at Georgia, lousy in the NFL. Looked like an 11th grader out there. So I got to give Tommy DeVito some credit for at least getting the job done.
And imagine they'd actually allow Tommy DeVito in his first game actually to throw the ball. I'm not even going to kill anybody for that, because maybe the Giants beat the Jets that game.
But he wound up going in, and they were like, "Look, kid, just don't lose us a game. Hand the ball off.
Right.
We'll work on this during the week. You need snaps. I mean, you can't just put a kid in and have him, throwing 30 and 40-yard passes to guys he hadn't thrown to before. You know, I mean, it's not like he's practicing with the first unit. He's not.
No.
So, in fact, the third-string quarterback is usually mimicking the other team. So whoever he's throwing to is usually all the backups because those guys are trying to mimic the opponent's that week's offense for the defense. So the defense can figure out how to play against them. So, you know, if let's say the Giants were playing the Dolphins, Tommy DeVito that week would be Tua.
Okay.
Not that he's going to really replicate what Tua can do, but he would try. And that's what they would work on. That's how they would work on it. It's not going to be Daniel Jones playing that role. It's not going to be Tyrod Taylor playing that role. It's going to be the third-string quarterback. That's why he's there.
Right.
He's not there to play games. So the fact that Tommy DeVito is actually starting games right now just shows you how bad the season has gone for the Giants. So when your third-string quarterback starts, your season is not going well. And the only time it's gone well is when Brock Purdy wound up being the starter, and all of a sudden the San Francisco 49ers said, "Holy cow, we got a quarterback here. Last pick of the draft, and we got a legitimate starter."
Yep.
So, you know, until that bolt of lightning, lucky break hits the Giants, Tommy DeVito will just be a nice story who is better than expected because he was undrafted, but is a nice story who has shown some competence and, you know, hopefully will get some sort of reward from that, but might not. That's the NFL. That's the business of the NFL.
Yeah, and I understand that. I mean, I think this is a good story right now, and that's all it is. You know, do we?
And the Giants have won a couple. I'll tell you what, the Giants winning has actually hurt them in the long run. It's great for them. I'm sure the fans are happy, and everybody loves beating Bill Belichick. You know, and just to talk a little bit about the game yesterday. I mean, let's face facts. The Giants got lucky. I mean, it was the final score was 10-7.
Right.
So did the offense play well? No, they didn't. But and the Patriots missed what should have been a game-tying field goal. Chad Ryland, the Patriots kicker, missed a 35-yard field goal. That's pretty much an extra point.
Yeah.
Pulled it left, just missed the goalpost, and that was it. Ball game. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Belichick told his kicker to miss because I guarantee I guarantee you Bill Belichick wants a new quarterback in the draft.
He does, but
he's tired of the whole Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi revolving door.
But you don't tell your team to lose.
Of course not. But if you tell your kicker,
what he should have done is went for fourth down.
Well, no. What he should have done is
if he's
at least taken one shot at the end zone.
Yeah.
He didn't even do that. He was playing for the field goal.
Well, we'll find Mr. Kraft and ask him. You know, because
Mr. Kraft is. I think he's getting a massage, bro. So
he might be. But anyway, so they lost 10-7, and you know what? It was an okay game, not an exciting game, but
it was two not good teams playing against. It was an ugly game, brother.
It wasn't as ugly as that.
Did much.
It wasn't as ugly as that Jets-Giants game.
That was ugly.
That was ugly.
But that was uglier. Yes,
that was
I agree.
A different game.
But this game wasn't much better.
Right.
I mean, come on, 10-7. It wasn't very good. The only positives to me in this game, Giants defense, three interceptions.
Not bad.
The last of those interceptions wound up leading to a 42-yard field goal from Randy Bullock, not Graham Gano, because Graham Gano was hurt, and rookie wide receiver Jalen Hyatt, who, if you remember, brother, I was a big fan of his when the Giants picked him up in the third round in the draft this past year. Burner out of Tennessee finally showed off some moves yesterday, and then DeVito hit him for like a 40-yarder on a third that was like 3rd and 17 or something like that, and hit him up the sideline. Beautiful throw, great catch, just stayed in bounds. I was like, wow, this is like, It was the funny thing was, I was saying just before they snapped the ball for that play, I literally said out loud, are they going to let DeVito throw the ball? You know, or is he just going to throw a little check down screen garbage and hope that Saquon or whoever catches the ball can get 17 yards? And then all of a sudden, here's DeVito going back, 7-step drop, zipping a ball, and I'm like, holy cow, they let him throw it. And it looked good.
It did.
That's the whole thing. It looked good.
That's all you want. You know, that's why he might start against the Packers.
I don't think he will. But
I don't either. But
I don't want to sit here and say for sure that he won't. Only because, well, a couple of reasons. Number one, he's won 2 games in a row. He's actually played pretty well in both of those games.
Yep.
He certainly has shown that he can take a beating because he keeps getting sacked. A lot of that is his fault because he's taking too long in the pocket. He needs to speed up his processing times, but so does Zach Wilson, so do a lot of quarterbacks. But he hasn't done anything wrong. He's not throwing bad interceptions. He's not throwing any interceptions. So, it's one of those things that why not let him start? Is Tyrod Taylor going to give you that much better of a chance to win a game? Probably not.
Well, the thing about it is that let's say he starts and he does well. Okay, the Giants aren't making the playoffs,
Right? Exactly.
so let it happen. Let it happen until they lose.
Why? Yeah, that's what. Or either that, or he plays badly. But Tyrod Taylor came into the season as a backup quarterback, so why not keep him as a backup quarterback?
Right.
And let DeVito do his thing and have his day. If Taylor starts and he gets hurt again, then what? I mean, I'm not. Taylor hasn't been an injury-prone guy, so I don't think that would happen.
Right.
But if it does, now you're playing, and DeVito is the only guy left because you'd have 2 quarterbacks dressed. So I don't. It's a difficult scenario.
Okay.
The one thing I did want to mention, brother.
Okay.
Well, like I said, number one, the Patriots drove downfield late in the game, fourth quarter. Never took a shot at the end zone. Ryland misses the kick, so there's no overtime. The overtime that Belichick was playing for never happens. And then Belichick in the press conference after the game says, "Not good enough." Yeah, the man's a football genius, brother.
Well,
He's a football genius.
Well, it just
not good enough.
Just goes to show you when you're winning, you have a Hall of Fame quarterback and you have other people, and it's working out great. You're the genius, and then when you take away all the good players and you can't find new players or make new players good, all of a sudden you say not good enough. So
here's the other point that I want to make, bro. Mac Jones, benched for the 4th time this season. He threw 2 interceptions in the first half. That, by the way, nine turnovers for the Giants in the last 2 games. That's why they're winning games, because the defense is actually playing well. Of course, they're not playing very good teams, which is why they're getting so many turnovers. But 9 turnovers in the last 2 games. I remember, brother, when my mook friend Croce.
Who?
My mook friend Croce.
Bob Croce?
Bob Croce, yes. He was giddy when Mac Jones dropped to the Patriots in the draft. And he told me more than once, numerous times, as a matter of fact, I'm quoting here, we just drafted the next Tom Brady.
So you say it like that, Tom?
Yeah, that's how they talk up there. Tom Brady.
Okay.
All I can say, brother, yet another CIP. That stands for Croce Idiot Prediction.
Well, brother, he's had a lot of them. He's proud of them.
Hundreds, maybe thousands.
He loves them.
Jones in the first half, 12 for 21 for 89 yards.
Not good.
How many Jet fans would trade Zach Wilson for Mac Jones?
None.
None. That's how bad he is.
That's right. Okay, let's get to the Jets. They were Friday. They were on Prime. I don't think the game was. I didn't see it. Maybe it was. I don't know. But was it on?
I saw it. Yeah, it was on.
Oh, it was? Okay.
I saw it. Yeah, it was. It might have been on Prime, but it was on. What? I don't know where I was. Maybe ESPN. I don't even know.
Well, it had to be somewhere.
It was
usually.
On. It was on.
But unless it was an exclusive, because I wasn't sure.
I was flipping through the TV, and all of a sudden I found it. I'm like, oh, look, there's Tua.
Okay, good.
Look at the score. And I got it at, I think it was maybe just in the second half, because I got home and I turned on the TV. But it was already, the Dolphins were way in front, and I'm like, yeah, there's no surprises here.
Yeah, well.
So I didn't see the first half, but I didn't really need to see the first half. I didn't want to watch the game. That's how much I knew the Dolphins were going to win this game by 20 points.
A new term has been made.
Yes, I missed that. That was the only thing I missed, and it was embarrassing. But go ahead, have it.
It's there's the butt thing, and now it's the fail Mary.
I heard Hail Mary, brother. Which one are we going with? We could go with either one. I heard Hail Mary.
I prefer Fail Mary.
Fail Mary. Yeah. Explain what happened, brother.
You're throwing it deep, and then the team you're playing against catches it and then runs it back for a touchdown.
Well, it was just to provide a little context. It was the last play of the half, first half. Boyle goes back and he goes to chuck a long one. And the Dolphins catch the ball at basically at the goal line. I guess it was at the 1 because I think it wound up being a 99-yard return.
Yep.
But and look that up, bro. Who caught it? We got it. We should give this guy some credit for a 99-yard return.
I don't know.
Oh, that's
I
so.
don't know, brother.
But the interception is made at the 1-yard line. You expect that somebody in the course of 99 yards will be able to tackle this person. Instead, what happens? He's running, he's going, he's making people miss, he's going towards the right. Here comes Tim Boyle to try to slow him down. Quarterbacks don't slow down anybody. And he's trucking to the end zone. And here, I mean, what should have been at best a 20-yard return and should have been a nothing play at the end of the half turns into
Javon Holland.
Javon Holland, there you go. So it turns into Javon Holland making one of the best plays of his career and giving the Dolphins an extra 7 points, which the Jets certainly didn't need to give anybody 7 points.
No.
The Jets never need to give anybody 7 points because they have so many problems scoring. It was horrible. And like I said, call it the Fail Mary, call it the Hail Mary, whichever. But it's up there now with the butt fumble. In Jets lore, that play is going to live for years.
Yes,
because
will.
it was so incompetent.
But it also shows that if you catch a play like that, you should run it back as far as you can.
Of course.
Some people don't. Sometimes they would take the knee and say, "Oh, it's the end of the first."
Defensive
first
players, let's put it this way: corners especially, because they're usually fast human beings. They will try to take it to the house. If a linebacker catches that ball, or especially a defensive lineman catches that ball, they're just falling down because they don't want to run 100 yards. They have no desire to do that. These are fat people. Not linebackers as much as defensive linemen, but they're large human beings. They have no desire to run 100 yards, even if it means a touchdown. They'll go without the glory. First of all, Tim Boyle gets the start. I was surprised by that because it was the short week.
I wasn't.
I thought Zach Wilson would get the start, and then Boyle would start this week. Coming up.
No.
Why were you not surprised by that?
Because,
Explain.
How many weeks you give Zach Wilson?
What difference does it make?
Well,
they weren't. Like I said last week, brother, there was not a healthy quarterback on the Jets roster that was going to beat the Dolphins.
I know that, brother.
Period.
But still,
I knew they were going to lose this game. I said they were going to lose this game. I said they were going to lose it big. I hope our listeners bet big on this game. I'm trying to pay for your houses here, people.
Now, Timmy, stop encouraging people to bet. Okay?
Why?
Yeah, no.
When you're talking locks,
no,
yes.
no. Don't listen to Tim about betting. Okay?
Yes.
He's never bet. He's won one bet in his life.
Listen to me.
One bet.
Listen to me.
You won on the Jets once, about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, 14 years ago.
I win big.
You didn't win big. You won $50.
Anyway, the whole point that I'm saying is that anybody who watched this game the time would have been better spent waiting on a cashier's line in the mall on Black Friday instead of sitting on your couch watching this awful game.
All right.
And I got to wonder, at what point does Woody Johnson say that Saleh and Joe Douglas are not the guys to get this done? And in fact, I more than like both of these guys.
Yeah, I do too.
I think they're both competent at their jobs, but I could certainly see if Woody says after the season, look, guys, this isn't getting better, and we need to get it better. And Zach Wilson is a bust, and we need to get another quarterback now. And the whole Aaron Rodgers thing has turned into a boondoggle because maybe Nathaniel Hackett really is an awful offensive coordinator. Alan Lazard is not even playing, and the Jets are going to owe him another $10, $12 million next year. And he's not going anywhere. They signed him to a guaranteed contract, 2 years for $22 million.
Right.
He's a healthy scratch right now. You're paying this guy $11 million a year. Or actually, no, $12 million this year, $10 million. Here it is. I got the notes. $10 million for 2024 is fully guaranteed.
Okay.
That's how bad of a signing is that? And that's the guy you signed because Aaron Rodgers said he had to have him.
Well,
mistake. And I'm not going to sit here and kill these guys for getting Rodgers because that's the move the fan base wanted. Everybody in the fan base was screaming to bring in Aaron Rodgers.
But if you think, if you go back to like before they signed him, you had to sign him. You had to sign Aaron Rodgers because there was no hope before that. Aaron Rodgers gave you hope.
Of course, I'm not criticizing the move. I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback it. I said I was one of the people who said they need to sign Aaron Rodgers. I expected Aaron Rodgers to play more than 4 plays, though. So that's the point. This move has backfired. Will Saleh and Douglas pay for it with their jobs? I don't know, because the move was universally praised.
Right.
There's not a football person that wouldn't have done the same deal.
Okay, let's say they get rid of Saleh. Let's say they get rid of him.
It always comes down to who do you replace him with. That's the
first thing. But then you have to stop everything and start there. You can't even get other players at that moment because you have to get the coach first.
Of course.
So that's.
But then what happens this year with the draft?
Yeah, well, that's.
You got picks going to the Packers because of the Rodgers deal.
Right.
So your draft won't be as potent. I mean, the Jets still have their first round pick, but would they use that on a quarterback? It's entirely possible the Jets are going to go 4-13, and if they do, that's a top 5 pick. There's Caleb Williams, there's Bo Nix, there's Drake May. There's 3 real good quarterbacks in that mix. Not every team who is going to be picking in the top 5 needs a quarterback. So how does that work? Or are they going to trade down? Maybe. But you could get a quarterback at 5.
Okay. Let's go with
and
that.
If that's the case, if I'm the Jets, I'm picking the quarterback. Because you got to figure Aaron Rodgers is going to be here one more year.
He's out the door.
He's probably out the door after 2024.
Yeah, I think he's gone. This team is not going to be good for him next year if he comes back and everything is okay. That's my thing. And one thing I'm hearing about him, he's getting ready to practice. Well, how injured was he? How bad was this Achilles if he's able to stand and throw a football?
They showed on Friday the procedure that Dr. Elatrache, famed sports surgeon, used. But they never said, in fact, I'm 100% positive, even though I have not seen specific information, but I'll say 98% positive that Aaron Rodgers did not have a full tear of his Achilles.
He couldn't have.
Well, that's my point. If the Achilles was fully torn, there's no way that he would be talking about coming back and playing next month. Absolutely no way.
No.
So whatever they did and whatever new procedure, cutting-edge procedure that they used to fix it, it wasn't a full tear.
No.
So, yeah, maybe it is possible to come back. But it was a full tear. He'd be out for a year.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care. The only way he'd come back earlier than that is if Mr. Miyagi clapped his hands together and did the whole rub thing and put it on his Achilles, and then he'd be healed in 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
But Mr. Miyagi isn't there. So
no. So anyway, just to let you know, the Jets next week are playing the Falcons, and then
Falcons are pretty good.
Texans,
they're not great. They're not bad.
And then the Dolphins again. Then the Commanders, the Browns, and then the Patriots. So they could
4-13 or 5-12. That's what I got them at, brother. I don't think they'll beat. They might beat the Commanders, maybe. But every other game on the rest of the schedule, besides the Patriots, obviously, is a loss. So it's a maybe win against the Commanders and a maybe win against the Patriots because they always seem to play lousy against the Patriots. The Patriots are awful. And in the last game of the season, I could certainly see the Patriots just rolling over. Because what are they? I mean, their quarterback is it's so bad. Neither one of those guys knows how to play.
And the Giants are playing the Packers, the Saints, the Eagles, the Rams, and the Eagles again.
Yes. So it's entirely possible the Giants have won their last game of the season.
Yeah.
And they are 4-8 right now, so they would finish at 4-13.
And
so the Giants and the Jets could be battling each other for a spot in the draft.
Right. And the Eagles game, the last game of the season, has not been determined at what time they're playing it. The day is correct, but they haven't determined.
I don't think they'll move that game. I think the Eagles will be clinched by then, and what do the Giants have to play for at that point? Nothing.
So, but the fact they're playing the Eagles the last 2 out of 3 weeks is kind of strange.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Schedule Maker.
Yeah.
Thanks for guaranteeing 2 losses.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to take a break right now. You're listening to 90.3 WHPC. From the press box, my name is Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. If you have a comment or question, give us a call, 572-7440.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by Atlantic Avenue Laundry Service. Get your laundry done in one pickup. The phone number to call is 516-672-9745 to schedule with your location and what types of laundry you have, and they've got the rest. 2-day service also available. 25-pound minimum. Atlantic Avenue Laundry Service will pick up your laundry at your doorstep, and then clean, folded laundry gets delivered back. They accept Zelle, cash, or whatever works for you. More information is available by calling 516-672-9745 or online at AtlanticAVELaundry.com.
.3 WHPC or WHPC weather forecast powered by Pantano's Gourmet with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. Well, tonight, this afternoon, it's actually going to be a pretty decent day. It's going to be 50 degrees outside. It's going to be sunny. Good day to go running, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, we saw a guy running before. He was like in shorts, and it was like, yeah, this is a good day. It's a nice, cool day.
I'm going running later, brother.
Yeah, right. You haven't ran since you played soccer.
Always negative. Why
No,
always
I'm not.
negative?
I'm being
always negative.
I'm being truthful. There's a difference. Anyway, it's going to be partly cloudy in the evening. Tomorrow, it's going to be clear all day, but it's going to be really cold. It's going to be down to like 35 degrees, so be careful out there. It's starting to get cold outside. You know, Christmas isn't here yet, but we're still in the fall, but we only have a couple of weeks till it starts. You're making noise, brother. Making noise.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
You only played one commercial.
That's all we played. Sorry.
Never only played one commercial.
Well, you know, we do what we have to do. Anyway, we're talking sports. 516-572-7440. We'd love to hear from you. And anyway, we talked about the Giants. We've talked about the Jets. The Yankees have hired, what's his name?
Brad Ausmus, brother. How about that?
Yeah.
Brad Ausmus is the new bench coach for the New York Yankees, replacing Carlos Mendoza, who obviously was hired as the new manager of the New York Mets a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So Brad Ausmus will be manager Aaron Boone's new bench coach, the team announced on Tuesday. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar, Brad Ausmus actually started his career in the Yankee system.
Okay.
All right. They drafted him in the 48th round of the 1987 amateur draft. I was a little surprised. I don't think he ever played for the Yankees.
Okay.
Because he was traded to San Diego. I don't even remember for who, but it was way back in the day. But he was a well-regarded prospect back when not many people were writing about prospects. I remember hearing his name and looking forward to seeing him on the Yankees, but he never did make it, in the pinstripes. But he's a Dartmouth graduate, brother. So he's got to be smart.
You hope so.
He's got to be smart.
And any word on Willie Randolph?
No.
No.
I don't think that's happening. I thought the Mets announced a bench coach,
Yeah,
but when I went and looked back for it, I didn't find it. So I don't know.
I thought they did too.
Check MLB.com and see.
I
checked an alternate website. Let's put it that way. I'll just instead of embarrassing them. But they don't have enough writers, and maybe it slipped through the cracks.
I would love to see Willie come back. You know?
I don't think he's going to. I thought I remembered him, Mendoza going with somebody else, but it wasn't Willie. And for anybody still holding out hope, it's never going to be Wally Backman. Please stop dreaming that dream. Wally Backman.
Why? What's wrong with him?
Wally Backman's never getting a Major League Baseball job. Never.
I'd hire him.
With all the criminal, I don't want to say criminal convictions, with all of the charges against him. He's got DWIs on his record. He got a
DWI. So what?
He's got
not
assault charges
driving while intoxicated.
Assault charges for putting hands on his girlfriend or his wife. It's not a good look.
Forgiveness.
No, it's not going to happen. Plus, he's in his 60s. Nobody's hiring people that old anymore. They just aren't. Do I think Wally Backman would do a good job? Yeah, I do. Because I think he's got a really good baseball mind. But he's to the point in his life now where it's past it. He's past his due date.
Well,
so no team is going to bring him in, and especially run the risk of him embarrassing the organization.
Oh.
So that's just how it is.
I don't know. I would ask for, say to Willie, I mean, not to Willie, to Wally, ask for forgiveness, and, New York will give it
But he
to
never
you.
has.
Well, maybe he just hasn't.
He's always been very hard-headed about that.
Well, that's part of his problem, then. Anyway, the Mets, Ron Hodges passed away. If you remember the 73 Mets, and I do vividly, Ron Hodges became, for a few months, the guy, because Jerry Grody was injured and Duffy Dyer had his problems, I think with some injuries also. And Ron Hodges was the guy. And the big deal was about Ron Hodges was, is he related to Gil? And for a while, he'd come up to bat, and they'd say, well, he's not related to Gil. So, he was there for a few years, Ron Hodges. That's a
Met fans know him. I don't know that anybody else knows him, but Met fans do know him.
Yeah, if you remember the 73 Mets, and I do, he was there. That was a great team. Well, not a great team, but it was a good team.
It's a pretty good team.
I mean, they got lucky. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
The NL East wasn't good that year, and they came out and had a great September. So anyway, he died at 74. He was the backup catcher. Jerry Grody
Right.
was hurt.
Yeah.
So, sadly, there's barely any footage of the 73 Mets. So it's just horrible. There's film, but there's not. Anyway, Robinson Cano, brother.
Yeah,
What's happening with him?
This for me was maybe the weirdest story of the week.
It's
because
it's Dubois. Dubai. How do you say it?
Dubai, brother.
Dubai.
Because Robinson Cano, who, let's face it, kind of embarrassed himself
As a Met?
2 years ago.
Yeah, of course.
He played for the Mets, he played for the Braves, he played for the Padres, and didn't hit anywhere. And very much showed his age, very much showed his steroid use. He clearly showed that he was another one past his sell-by date. But now, Cano, who was an 8-time All-Star in Major League Baseball, is according to the New York Post, embarking on a new adventure overseas with a baseball league that is taking shape in a part of the world not traditionally associated with the sport. I'm reading from the New York Post article. Cano is now 40 years old, brother. He became a part of the ownership group of the Dubai-based professional baseball league, which is called Baseball United. Like Manchester United, brother.
Yes.
So I'm putting that in there so you can hate it immediately.
Yes.
And this actually goes back a couple of months because he became part of this ownership group in September. But then Cano was selected 6th overall in the inaugural draft last month. How is that? How is Robinson Cano the 6th best player in anything at this point?
No, he's not. But you know what? I guess that's maybe they're doing a little thing about making him feel good.
But here's the worst part, brother. And if I read the article correctly, and I'm not 100% sure I did, your boy Bartolo is going to be in this.
Yeah, of course.
So I can tell that my brother is already
what this sounds like?
Going to get a jersey with Al something on it.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like I don't know, about 30 years ago there was a start of a senior baseball league.
It was I think it was based in Florida.
Yeah, it was based in Florida.
I forget what it was called, but I remember it had like a big gold star as a logo or something.
Yeah, so I think maybe it's the same thing, but
it's similar.
But this is
but they're playing in the desert.
Yeah, but this is a thing where they have all this money, and
by they you mean the Saudis.
Yeah. And they're like, it's like the golf. It's like Live Golf.
Live Golf. It's like their soccer league now.
Yeah.
They're throwing hundreds of thousands at players, and when I say hundreds of thousands, I mean per week.
Right.
Cristiano Ronaldo is playing over there and scoring goals like it's nothing because he's playing against lousy players. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 good players on most of the teams.
Right.
But that's it. Like they don't have so much money that they're putting 11 All-Stars out there. Although Mohamed Salah from Liverpool is supposed to be going there pretty soon. Might even go there in January because they're offering him ungodly amounts of money, hundreds of millions.
Right, and they have,
and
all
he's
this
already
money.
old. I mean, he's like pretty much close to his ending date at Liverpool, and they're willing to throw, like I said, hundreds of millions. Like at least $200 million has been one of the numbers I've seen that they would pay to bring him to Saudi Arabia to play soccer for like another 3 years.
Yeah,
or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
money.
you know what? That's if you had all this money, it's unlimited, and like let's spend it on something. And you into sports, if you're the Saudis or whoever part of the family or who's ever working that, they say, hey, let's start a league. What the hell?
Yeah, but it's. You make it sound like it's a good thing. It's not.
It's not. But I'm just saying what they're thinking.
This is blood money.
Yeah,
that they're spending.
It is. It's the money we spend for gasoline.
And well, not to mention the fact that you remember the journalist who was murdered.
Yes, bro.
That was by the Saudi family.
They claimed it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, it happened.
We know
Man's
it happened.
dead.
I know that.
So, it's.
Some people, our government didn't care either. So,
well, several of them profited from it, brother. Let's
right. But by the way, I just want to say one more thing about Ron Hodges.
Yes,
he was part of the famous play against the Pirates, September 20th, 1973, where the ball bounced off the top of the wall. Cleon Jones threw it. It goes to Wayne Garrett. He throws it to Ron Hodges, and they tag out the guy trying to come home. And it was a major play. I still remember it as a kid because,
So Cleon Jones did what Timo Perez did not do.
Well,
that's what you're saying.
Well, no, this bounced off the top of the wall. If this was 2 inches further, it would have been a home run. It was a perfect throw. It goes, Garrett to Ron Hodges, boom, the guy's out. It's like okay, that's incredible if you think about it. So, and this was the Mets had to win, and this was a major thing. So, if he did nothing else in his career, which he was always the backup basically. He is
backup catcher is a thankless job, brother. We're likely going to be talking to an author in a couple of weeks about the whole life of a backup catcher.
Let's not talk about that yet until we actually get
a little foreshadowing.
Okay. So anyway, so
Robinson Cano is still in the game.
Well,
I'm not even sure how that's possible, but he's still in the game. He's still trying to make money off of baseball. Hey, good for him. Obviously, they probably don't have drug testing in Saudi Arabia, so
why would they, brother?
It would mess up the league.
Do you remember?
I just hope Bartolo can get enough to eat over there.
There was a joke when Vince McMahon started the World Bodybuilding Federation.
Ugh. And
I think the line was, it was bodybuilding the way God intended, meaning that take all the steroids you want. And it never lasted, of course, because most things McMahon starts don't last.
Third round draft pick was a bag of needles.
Yeah, so, so he's gotten lucky over the years. But I remember that for whatever reason, because he was working out himself, so he felt he might be in it or something.
He was working out like crazy, and he was also allegedly taking steroids himself. So
yeah, we don't know.
Your boy would know. What's his name?
Oh, John.
John, yeah.
I don't know if John would know.
He probably would know.
Maybe.
I'm sure he heard some stuff.
Well, he was there when the whole steroids thing happened over at Nassau County Court.
Exactly. He knew stuff.
He did know stuff. I haven't talked to him in a while. Yeah. Last time I talked to him, I heard him on WHPC radio with Frank Morano.
Yeah. Let's not plug other people.
That doesn't matter. I know Frank, and he's a nice guy. Anyway, let's talk about the Knicks, brother. Wow. They beat Phoenix 116 to 113.
No.
What?
No. Read it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Phoenix beat them. I'm sorry.
Yes. Devin Booker, brother, who's not a Knick, hit a three-pointer.
Oh, okay.
With 1.7 seconds left in the game to give Phoenix the 116-113 win. Knicks have lost 2 of their last 3. They have the Hornets on Tuesday at the Garden. They're 9-7. Not great, not bad. They did have the one win in their last 3 games was a rather rousing victory over the Miami Heat. And that wound up keeping them alive in the NBA's in-season tournament. We really need a better name for this, other than in-season tournament.
I think it's the stupidest thing I ever saw in my life.
Not.
It is.
It really isn't, brother.
It is.
Soccer does this all the time.
And more stupid stuff.
No.
Why do you have it? What happened? What do you get out of it?
You get a trophy. You get to say that you won something.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
ooh.
It makes regular season games a tiny bit more meaningful.
Then don't have as many games.
Well, the owners want many games. They want to make money.
I know that, but maybe you reduce it by 10 or something. I mean, if you have to do
10?
this,
Are you crazy?
Why don't you
Like,
just?
they don't even want to reduce it by 4.
Why don't you?
Ten.
You know what you do, brother? This is what you do. You do dunking contests every game, or play horse every game.
Nobody wants that either. What
I
is
know
that
that.
going to do?
Nothing.
It does nothing. These are actual competitive games. So anyway, brother, the Knicks were losing.
And
to
I
the
don't
Heat.
like the by the way, the whole court setup. Those.
They're very colorful.
Oh God, it's painful to watch.
Very colorful.
It gives
No,
me a
that's how you
headache.
know that it's an in-season tournament game
Yeah, well,
because they have the alternative court.
yeah. I don't know.
Very colorful. Maybe too colorful.
Very, very colorful. Too
But
boring.
again, against the Heat, the Knicks were losing by how much was it? A lot. It was 20-something points. 21, as a matter of fact. Emmanuel quickly got the comeback going. The Knicks wound up finishing the game on a 38-15 run. And that was at sold-out Madison Square Garden, which I don't know that we can say that for every game in the last couple of years.
No, you can basically.
They had a couple of games that weren't sold out.
Yeah.
And the stupid story that I read said that the Knicks got their revenge for the Heat knocking them out of the playoffs. No, they didn't.
No.
You knock a team out of the playoffs, then a regular season game doesn't mean anything.
Last time an important game between the Knicks and the Heat happened, Pat Riley was still around.
Or Jeff Van Gundy grabbed Alonzo Mourning by the shin.
Yeah.
That still is one of the greatest moments in NBA history. But the Knicks came away with a 100-98 victory. A loss would have ended their chances of staying alive in the in-season tournament. So, they still have that going for them.
What do they get any extra money for this?
I don't know. Maybe, probably.
It's
I'm sure there's some sort of incentive to win aside from, hey, look at this shiny cup. There's got to be financial incentive for players because that's what motivates players. Yes, they're competitive people. They want to win when they play.
And why don't you do this in January when there's less?
It's going through most of the season. It's not like it's going to be over in a week. This is going to be extended in passes. I mean, right now I think we're down to it might be the final 8 already. Because basically what they've been doing is I want to say it's each team. It's like they set up kind of divisions within the divisions.
Yeah.
And you had to win. You had to go like 3-0, 2-1, something like that to advance to the next round. And now we're into that next round. So I want to say I thought I had seen something that said there were 8 teams left. And if the Knicks are one of those 8 teams, let's face it, they're not going to be one of the 8 teams left, or more than likely won't be one of the 8 teams left when the playoffs are going on. Because that would mean they're in the Eastern Conference semifinals. I don't know if they're getting there. They might not.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds you of the team that wins the conference championship but doesn't win the NBA championship itself.
Well,
they put the banner on the wall, and it's like, oh, okay, that's very nice, but they still lost.
All what this is doing, brother.
Well,
why this is
it's
a good
like?
idea.
Actually, I'll change that.
All right, go ahead.
It's like when we went to Citi Field, they have a thing with all the Mets flags, and they say 1999 wild card.
Right.
Okay. Big deal.
The Yankees don't have any of those, by the way.
Yeah, I know that. And you hate
The Red
the wild
Sox
card.
do, though. The Red Sox.
You hate the wild card.
The Red
so.
Sox have every wild card they ever won on their stadium somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do hate the wild card. I still hate it. But my point being that this tournament makes otherwise meaningless NBA regular season games slightly more meaningful. And it gives 500 teams, and not a total of 500 teams. I'm talking about teams that play at a 500 level. It gives them something to play for. Because there are so many teams in the NBA that have no chance either at making the playoffs or at doing anything in the playoffs. And the Nets are probably one of those teams. Because they're not going to be better than the Celtics, the 76ers, or the Bucks.
Yeah.
So the Nets don't have any chance. The best chance the Nets have is to be the 4th best team in the conference. In fact, probably the Knicks are in the same boat. Because you also have the Heat, who are a good team. That might be the top 6 teams in the East.
Yeah, Knicks right now it's 7th, and the Nets are 10th.
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm missing a bunch of teams because I didn't look at standings yesterday. But if you look at the West is upside down now. Take a look at the West. See who's the top 3 teams in the West are, bro.
Minnesota Timberwolves,
Crazy,
the Thunder, and the Suns.
crazy, and the Suns who are just now picking it up. Probably the Suns probably won 3 or 4 in a row.
They are. Let's see. I don't see. Oh, last 8 out of 10.
All right, so there you go.
Matter of fact, the top 3 teams in the Western all have won 8 out of 10.
There you go.
That says a lot.
It says a lot. They're playing 800 basketball. But that is the point, is that, if you look at those teams in the West who are, say, between 8 and 11, who are those teams?
Rockets, Pelicans, Warriors.
All right. So the Warriors don't really apply for this because they've won a lot in the last few years, obviously. But the Pelicans, for example, a team in transition, a team that doesn't really have any expectations for this season other than to try to progress and
Well, you know what I was
improve.
just thinking, brother?
But those are the teams that this in-season tournament is for.
But you know what I was thinking? The in-season tournament is... Now I forgot what I was going to say. Now. What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, the players that decide, I don't want to play today.
That's more like load management, brothers. It's not the player saying that. It's more like the franchise and the player agreeing that, hey, I would like to get a day off because my legs are tired, or I'm worried that I might get hurt. Let's not have me play the third game in a 3 out of 4 nights or whatever.
Well, now it's important that they play all the games.
It makes it more important, yes.
And it's not fair if you go to a Knick game and you don't see the players you want to see. And I'm talking about the visiting team,
right?
Let's say LeBron decides, I'm going to.
LeBron would never not play at the Garden.
I know that.
There's no chance of that happening. But I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Let's say he wanted to go to the Radio City Music Hall, see the Rockettes.
He would stay for an extra day.
I don't know. So that's the part that bothers me.
But
anyway.
that's this tournament helps that. And Adam Silver has also told teams he doesn't want to hear about load management, and he wants players to play every game or as many games as they can.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be fines.
They should be.
So, and I agree. I don't disagree with that because these guys are getting paid tens of millions of dollars.
Right, and it's not just the fans coming to the arenas to see this. It's also games on TNT and ESPN and ABC.
And they plan around Kevin Durant coming to New York with the Phoenix Suns to play a game.
Right.
And if Kevin Durant is like, well, I'm tired, I don't want to play.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, dude, we got this game on TV. Like, what are you talking about? You can't not play.
I agree, man. Anyway, quickly, brother, Arsenal moved into first place in the Premier League after Man City tied Liverpool 1-1. Go Liverpool.
Premier League. Don't use that affected crap.
But that's what they say.
No, they don't. You always say that.
The announcers say it. Premier.
No.
Yes.
Just say Premier, brother. Speak like an American, all right?
Oh, then when I talk about as an American about soccer, you say, well, it's British. Let's talk about the pitch, and it's 0-0, and that crap.
I've never said let's talk about the British. What does that even mean?
I'm just, it's the pitch.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
And it's 0-0, not 0-0.
So?
Well, if you tell me to speak American, damn it, I'm gonna.
Don't use the affected pronunciation.
I'm just speaking
that you botch anyway.
I've been to England once.
Uh-huh.
And I have friends in England too.
Uh-huh.
Hello, David Bedford and Mark Lewison. Anyway, let's talk about the Islanders. 7 straight losses, brother. This is turning into a horrible season so far.
Oh, read the rest, brother.
I know, brother. I know. They won 3 in a row after the 7 straight losses. They lose to the Flyers 1-0 in a shootout. This can't continue. This can't continue.
Well, 3 wins in a row would be nice if it continued, but
it's not.
Nobody scored against the Flyers Saturday night. The game was 0-0 before they went to overtime. And Eli Sorokin made 40 saves.
Too many
for his second shutout of the season, but they lost.
Yep.
And Samuel Urson for the Flyers, 25 saves in regulation and overtime, and then stopped all 4 Islanders' attempts in the shootout. So the Islanders didn't get a puck past this guy. That's horrible.
That is.
It's the Flyers.
It's the Flyers, and I agree. It's
they are not world beaters.
It is an embarrassment right now.
It is.
If you get a new arena, you better start playing good. and they really haven't. Sad but true.
The arena isn't that new anymore, brother. And let's
Well,
face
it's
facts.
3 years old now.
Well, there you go.
That they still haven't done much in it.
I don't know what much would be, but I'm trying to remember what. Let me see. So it would have been.
Islands went to the final, or the semifinals in '75, 3 years into being at the Coliseum.
There you go.
So, just think of it that way.
I'd really rather not. So anyway, just a bad result against the Flyers. After 3 straight wins, which was encouraging, especially after 7 straight losses, and I mean the Islanders right now they're kind of they're floundering a little bit.
They have 6 ties, by the way.
Well,
that's the most in the league right now.
That's those shootout.
Which I hate.
Things.
I'd rather have just a tie, or not get a point at all.
Well, also the even more bad news is that defenseman Adam Pelech has been placed on the long-term injured reserve on Saturday. That means he will be required to miss at least 10 games and 24 calendar days, which means whatever his injury is, and they don't say what it is. They just say upper body. I hate hockey. They never tell you what's wrong with anybody. But 10 games and 24 calendar days for being placed on the long-term injured reserve. So whatever his injury is, it's significant because they're not going to put him on that injured list unless they know he's going to be out for at least 10 games or 24 days. So he's going to miss a month at a minimum. Well, and that's a significant loss for the Islanders. I mean, he's a guy who plays a lot of minutes.
One thing good about the Islanders, and I'm not sure how the Islanders were involved, but they were there when it happened. There's a new rink out in Suffolk, named after our friend Ed Westfall.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, that's pretty good. We should get him on. We have his phone number. He gave us. We saw him at a place in Port Washington having him a meal. We stopped him when he was leaving. It's a great story.
Where was this place, brother? Where in Suffolk?
I
forgot. Remember?
I want to say Riverhead, but I forgot.
So it's way out east.
Yeah, it's way out east. But Ledecky was
at Westfall Arena.
Yeah. So
that's nice honor.
Yeah. So anyway, Big Ed's here now. Big Ed. I don't know if you know this, Tim. Big Ed.
I probably do. But
Big Ed every week comes in with coffee. Now, what I'm going to do.
Why is that a revelation?
Because I'm going to steal the coffee. I'm going to do a test. I want to see what happens to Ed if he's not drinking coffee while on the air.
He's got a look on his face. He's going to kill you.
Give me a nervous breakdown.
He's going to kill you
before I start the show.
He's going to kill you. Look at his shirt. Life is better with coffee and dogs.
Yeah, come on.
Come on. You can't take the man's coffee. He can't bring his dog in here, so you can't take his coffee.
Well, he should bring his. You should bring a dog in here.
I don't know, 2-hour show. Somebody would have to walk the dog during the show.
No. He would take a poop outside beforehand. Anyway, that just about does it for our show, brother. Another great show. This is from the Press Box here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This show becomes a podcast later on, wherever you find your podcasts. And if you have any comments or questions, well, call us next week, 516-572-7440. Rob Leonard, Tim Leonard, thanks for listening. Take care, and bye-bye.